Hello, PLC fam. Welcome to the PLC podcast. This is the final pod of the regular season going into week 12. In this episode, me and Jordan go over our picks from the very last pod, which unfortunately 3 weeks ago. I'm sorry, J-Way, things happen. But we're going to be going over those results. We're also going to be making our picks for the final matchups of the season. But the bulk of the pod will be talking about the playoff picture as well as the matches with heavy playoff implications going into our final week. Again, the PLC podcast is sponsored by our friends over at PG Lang and at OVO. And yeah, man, shout out Aubrey, shout out Kendrick. Just, don't send any goons to us. We make a couple jokes on this, but I hope you guys enjoy.
All right, what's going on, PLC podcast? Jay and I are back. Jay, hello, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty good. So we officially made it to the last week of the regular season. It's week 12. Jay, how do you feel? How has season 9 treated you?
Season 9's been weird, man. I don't know, I've had a very weird season. I feel like the game hasn't been on my side for a lot of it. I've also, I've been short 2 battles, technically, as well. So I feel like, I don't know, I haven't really fully. It's different. It's just very different. Again, there's people who I've wanted to face that unfortunately didn't get to face. I don't want to mention any names, but things like that happen. Life happens. We're in an okay spot, and again, the main point is just getting to playoffs. Then again, it's just a fresh start at that point.
Right, exactly. Everyone is 0-0 heading into playoffs. So once you make it, it's basically the start of a new season. So that's kind of what everyone's trying to do. And this is the last week of the regular season. So next week we will know who's in, we will know who's out. So this is going to be kind of an interesting podcast episode because we're going to talk about the picks we made a couple weeks ago, but we're really going to focus on the standings. We're really going to focus on, where everyone's at currently, where we could end up, and all that good stuff. So, well, yeah, it's been a strange season.
Yeah,
to say the least. But it's all good. So this is the funnest part of it, and here we go. So Jay, I guess the first thing we'll tackle real quick is 3 weeks ago, week 9. Yeah, I know, seriously. So week 9, we made picks, and we're going to go ahead and talk through those because we did make them. So I guess I'll kick us off really quickly. And
yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll just go back and forth. So the first match that we had called for week 9, again, this is week 9 results a couple weeks ago, but Dan played me. So I called myself by 2. You called Dan by 4. Dan does end up winning by 2, so you get the correct call. I get an incorrect call. And yeah, I don't know if you remember that match or not.
I don't. To be honest with you, when you said 3 weeks, I was like, damn. Because I remember we also had additional week off.
Right.
For Ian's situation.
Mm-hmm.
So damn. It was 3 weeks ago. That's crazy. That's literally close to a month ago. Well,
for real though, yeah. Seriously.
Insane. Next up, we have Ian going against Evan. Jordan, we both called Ian. I called Ian by 3. You called Ian by 2. And Evan pulls out the win, beating Ian by 1. Again, I know nothing about this match. I do apologize, but props to Evan for pulling off the upset. At the time, I believe Ian was one of the top, and I believe he still is very high ranking in the standings as well. So just nice win on Evan's part, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. That is a big win for Evan because I think Ian may have been undefeated at that point. Or maybe it was he was 1 loss. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, he was having a really good season. So Evan with the major upset there. So props to you, my boy.
Yes, sir.
All right, next up, JSB. Jay, you called yourself by 2. I called SB by 1. SB did win by 3. So I get the correct call. Jay, you got the incorrect call. Do you remember that match at all?
I do. Unfortunately, I do. Man. I won't go too much into it. I just I just flinched just thinking about it. Bad joke. If you saw the match, you know what I mean.
Oh no.
But props SB. He had a terrific game plan going there, and I think he executed it perfectly. Can't be too mad at him.
Fair.
I guess. Next up we have Brian going against Jay Wade. I called Brian by 3. Jordan, you went with our friend across the pond, called Jay Wade by 3. Brian does pull it out, but only winning by 2. So it gives me the correct call. Unfortunately, giving you another incorrect call. Not to be that guy. That's 3 for you on the week.
Oh my
Which is
gosh.
just worth mentioning. But yeah, man, Ryan. We were just speaking about it before we got on the air. I didn't realize Brian was doing so well this season. And we'll get a bit more into that later. But props to him for still staying strong.
All right, you did not have to call out my bad week
Sorry,
like
sorry,
that.
sorry. I mean, listen, I feel like if I do it now, when we get to the end of the segment, it'd lessen the blow a little bit. But
That's
I'm
fair. That's
sorry,
fair.
my,
No,
my bad.
yeah. Spoiler alert:
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna get a little worse. So, um, yes. So Brian is doing well though. Brian's having a
Mm-hmm.
great year. So that's really good for him. Not so good for me because I play him this week. But yeah, we will get to that. So, next up, Reese and Ty. Jay, you called Reese by 4. I called Reese by 1. Reese did win, but by 2. So we get a correct
Mm-hmm.
call for both of us, which is cool. And again, don't remember much about the match. Actually, I don't remember anything about the match, but Reese does get the dub. He is still undefeated, and he was, undefeated to this point in week 9 as well. So
For
props to
now.
him. Fair.
Mm-hmm. Next, next up, we have Justin going against Jay. I called Justin by 2. Jordan, you called Jay by 4. I think up until this point, Justin was winless as well. So I think he was still looking for his first win of the season. And I felt the upset coming. Justin does pull it out by 2, giving me both a correct and a perfect call. Unfortunately, Jordan giving you another incorrect call. But thank you, Justin. Unfortunately, just a little bit of spoiler at the time, I believe Justin is no longer qualified for playoffs. But props to him for still picking up a couple W's before he rides off into the sunset. That is season 9.
Right, right. No, he has an important role this week. Even though he is out of the playoffs, he can play spoiler, which is
Mm-hmm.
it's an interesting position to be in because you're not necessarily playing for yourself, but just I mean for pride. We do keep up with history, so it's going to be interesting to see how he brings it this week. But Jay, you didn't have to say another incorrect call.
Sorry. I'm
The
sorry.
another
I'm
got me.
sorry. Sorry.
But no, again, more to come. So speaking of incorrect calls, next up, Phil and Speakman. So Jay, we actually both called Chris by Jay. You called him by 2. I called him by 3.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris did actually have to forfeit this week. So again, it was like
Oh man.
nearly a month ago. So I don't remember
Yeah.
exactly what happened, like what the circumstances were. But I know it's a busy time for Chris. This would have been like right in the middle of April. So I think that's probably right as tax time like kind of gears up, or maybe
Right.
not gears up, but kind of hits the
Look.
apex of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody waits until the last minute to go to head
exactly,
over. All the good
exactly.
stuff. Oh yeah. It makes
So
sense.
yeah, that may have played a part because again, this is going back about 3-4 weeks, so possible. But either way, whatever the case may be, we both get the incorrect call. Another incorrect call for you too, Jay.
Yeah. But guess what? In our next matchup, we had Zach going against Mike. I believe at this time, I don't know if I think Mike had just taken a loss to a Reese, or maybe vice versa. But I think he had like one loss going in. Um, and this again, this is one of our rivalry matches, the Battle of the Brothers. I went. Wow, I just got Zach and Reese really mixed up. So I was thinking about the
Well, this
standings.
is a rivalry match though.
But
It's
it
no
is a
love
rivalry
lost
match.
to the
It's
RNG, right? Right.
no love lost. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
And then the rematch of what was the season?
Oh, I want to say maybe like
What
season
finals was
3
this?
or 4. Yeah, it
So
was
yeah,
a
I'm like, what's up? Something like that. I'm
right.
pretty sure. I
Okay.
called Zach by 1. You called Mike by 3. And Zach with the 5-0 this week. Unfortunately, I didn't get the perfect call on that one, but I did get a correct call. Jordan, that would be another incorrect call for you. But you can always salvage it at the end, man. Always salvage it at the end.
Exactly. And before I salvaged this week, this was a season 3 rematch, season 3 finals
Let's be
rematch
honest.
between Mike and Zach, right? Where Zach also won that one. I think that was Zach's
I
first
think that was Zach's first
championship.
ring. Yeah,
Yeah.
first ring.
Because I think Aris went back to back in seasons 1 and 2. So yeah, I think that is
Yeah.
correct. But yeah. So speaking of like salvaging, saving the week, the last match of week 9 was Brendan and Simon. Jay, you called Brendan by 4, and I called Simon by 1, and Simon actually won by 0. I don't think this match was recorded, but anytime you like have a finish by no Pokemon remaining on the field. That's always fun. So
Yeah,
Simon
yeah.
pulls out the dub here, and yeah, good stuff. So Jay, that is another incorrect call for you, and another correct call for me. Um,
Right.
so yeah, yeah, it was a rough week. I'll let you tackle the
No, it's
I'll let you
okay.
tackle the overalls.
It's okay. To be honest with you, I didn't have that fantastic of a week either. For the week, I went 5-4. Overall, my record being 46-18. Not bad to say so myself. Jordan, this week you went 3-6. Um, that's rough, buddy.
It's
Uh,
rough. It's rough.
Overall though, you're 42-21, so you're still on the positive side. I did gain a couple games ground this week. And I did get one perfect call. So I do also have the lead in the perfect call head to head because that one. Thank you, Justin. I have 16. You have 15. But we still have 1 week left. We've had weeks before where we've had multiple perfect calls that could easily change as we head wind down. I believe last time we did the pod, I believe I got the overall. I think you had the more perfect calls that season, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So it can still happen. Still easily can happen.
Yo, especially when I call every game perfect this week.
You almost had it. We both almost had it. Like at some point, I forgot. I think mine was
Well, I know
forgot.
we did, so the last podcast we recorded, I'm looking back through notes, was week 6 we called, and I went 9-0, you went 8-1. I had 6 perfect calls and you had 4 perfect calls, which is kind of crazy.
You did have the perfect week, and I
Yeah.
believe wasn't the only match that I didn't get was mine or some shit like that.
It was Jay Wade and Dan. Yeah,
Oh,
you went
Jay
with Jay Wade.
Wade.
Yeah, Jay Wade
Jay Wade.
through.
I knew it. I was like, oh, Jay Wade.
Jay Wade through. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough stuff. But that was a
It's
crazy week. I
because he
think
hates me, man.
he was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this match. Jay called me.
Mm-hmm.
No, not happening. But now with that week, I think we may have recorded that after a few matches had been played. Not
Yeah.
to take away from the week, but yeah, it was still impressive. But
A
but
little
yeah,
bit of
that's
dishonesty, though.
a little bit. But so Jay, yes, you covered it. You're kicking my butt right now in the overall, both overalls technically. But again, one more week to go. So we are going
Mm-hmm.
to make week 12 predictions at the tail end of this podcast. But Jay, I think this is where we want to spend a majority of the conversation this week. Are you ready
Yes,
to
sir.
jump into standings and playoff projections?
I'm as ready as Kendrick was with his disses.
Whoa, he was ready. Are you? That's pretty ready, Jay. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready.
That was very ready. Yo, Jay, let me talk to you for 1 second.
Okay.
Let me
Oh
tell
God,
you.
here we
No,
go.
let me tell you.
Oh no. Okay.
Saturday night, or was it? It was either
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, Saturday night.
Right.
Not Jay. Drake dropped. Oh, what song was it? It was Family Matters.
Mm-hmm.
That song was so hard. And then
Great
15 minutes
song,
later,
actually.
it was fire. I was vibing. 15 minutes later, I didn't even have time to enjoy it. I saw Kendrick dropped. I said, oh no. And I went and listened to it.
Oh no.
That joint was fire too. I was like, no. Yo, that was a crazy night.
Yeah.
That Saturday
It's
night was wild.
for the lovers of hip hop. It's been a crazy week.
For real though.
I'm not sure if people pay attention to the music tab in the Discord, but we've been discussing it every time a move was made. Very nice discussions. And yeah, man, props to to Kendrick Lamar Duckworth and Aubrey Graham for providing us this amazing week in hip hop.
It's been fun.
Yeah, we won't speak about allegations that were said, because this is a PG podcast
Right.
at times. So yeah, man, but just know that's how ready we are. We're ready like the Kendrick this is. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
it immediate, impactful. Let's get into the standings, man.
Let's jump in. Okay. So Jay, what we'll do real quick is I guess I'll just kind of talk through the standings, and
Go
then
for it.
what we'll do is I will toss it to you at that point to kind of just talk about all of the. I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4-ish main points that we want to talk to. So I'll just let you kind of talk about the that purple column. But let me
Yes,
just jump into the
sir.
standings real quick. So okay, so first we have the top 4 in Reese, Zach, Brian, and Mike. Reese is 11-0. Zach is 10-1. Brian and Mike are both 9-2. So you guys are in the top 4. You guys would, at this point, had playoffs started today, you guys would be getting a first round bye. Then we have the 5 through 12 players: Ian, J Wade, Jay, you, Dan, Brendan, SB, Phil, and myself. Not all at 4-7, but those are your 5 through 12 players. Ian at 8-3, Jay Wade at 7-4. Jay, you are currently 6-5, along with Dan,
Yes, sir.
also 6-5. And then we have the 9, 10, 11, and 12 players all at 4-7. Now, as we get into the players who are currently out of the playoffs, Simon also has a 4-7 record. So he's tied with the number 9, 10, 11, and 12 players record-wise. His plus-minus is what's keeping him out of playoffs at this point. So he is the number 13 seed. He'd be the first one out. Again, had playoffs started today, but they don't. But then we have Ty, Evan, Speakman, Girl J, and Justin. I don't know if she likes being called Girl J. I've just been saying that. I'll have to ask her how she feels about that.
Yeah.
But Jay Grants. So Ty, Evan, and Speakman, they are currently 14, 15, and 16. They are 3-8, each of them. Their playoff hopes are still technically alive. Maybe a little tough, but they're alive. And then Jay and Justin are both 2-9. So right now they are both on the outside looking in. They're not going to make playoffs this year, but they both play a key part in these playoff pictures that we're going to paint right now. So that's your playoff standings currently, or not playoff standings, that's your standings currently. And Jay, why don't you tackle the first, I guess, possible scenario, and we'll kind of jump in.
Sounds good. First of all, props to Jordan. For those who are listening to this and haven't looked at the standings recently, Jordan made a beautiful little a rainbow colored outline, which we'll kind of explain as we continue going forward here. So I guess I'll start with the purple. Again, if you look at the spreadsheet, you're gonna understand what I'm saying. The purple covers the top 2 seeds, being Reese and Zach. At the time of this recording, I believe the match between Zach and Jay is finished. Actually, we don't know the results of this match. We're also not going to say the results of this match just for, so I'm looking for surprise effect, we can say, right? But this is, again, battle for the number 1 seed. Reese currently 11-0 with a plus-minus of 37. Zach is 10-1 with plus-minus 35. So, technically, right, if Zach beats Girl J, or if I don't like calling her Girl J.
Yeah, it seems very like it's not great, right?
If Twin J, right? If Twin J pulls off the upset, that would, no matter what, that would see Zach secure the number 2 seed, because I don't think, even if Brian was to win by 6, he wouldn't be able to secure that 2 seed as well, and neither would Mike. They would have to win. Again, it's impossible at that point.
Right.
Reese faces me. And I'm a little motivated. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think we've had I think Zach was close season 6 of having a perfect season, but I think he had like 1 loss. This is again another chance for a perfect regular season. Again, if Reese wins, no questions asked, he would be the undisputed number 1 seed. If he was to lose, and let's say Zach wins, beats Jay by a fair margin, I think Zach would be able to overtake him as well. Or if Zach was to only win by, Zach would have to win by 3 or more, and Reese would have to lose by, Jordan, tell me if I'm right, Reese would have to lose by, I believe, let me do the math real quick while I'm looking at it. Let me do the math real quick.
Well, no, if Reese was to lose at all, even if Zach was to win by 3, that puts him at plus 38 in Reese.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying. So like, but let's say Zach wins by 2. Right. Then again, no matter what, like, again, assuming me and Reese don't end in a 0-0, and at that point, Zach would take over. But again, it also depends on the margin of the Zach and the J match. But again, very it seems simple. Little things could happen. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. But that is kind of the battle for the 1 and 2 seeds right there. Because again, even if Zach was to lose by 6, he would still be the number 2 seed no matter what.
Right, exactly. Yep. So those 2 players, Reese and Zach, they've had a great season to this point. with Zach, I think Zach lost 2 weeks ago to Justin, which was, interesting because, Justin's not
Mm-hmm.
having the best year, but I mean, that just goes to show you anyone can be beat at any time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they are going to be your 1 and 2 seeds. It's just a matter of where they finish. So interesting to see, how that shakes out. But yeah, Zach and Jay Grants, they have played. Again, we don't know the outcome of that, but yeah, they have played. We did see like a little bit of chat in general where they were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
some poisons with Pecharunt, but I still couldn't make it out, one way or the other. But it's just
Right.
interesting to see the discourse. But all right, so that's your number 1 and 2 seed up for grabs right now by those two players. The next scenario is Brian, Mike, and Ian. And interestingly enough, Ty also plays a part in this conversation because this is 3 players battling for 2 spots, the number 3 and number 4 seed. So right now,
Mm-hmm.
Brian is number 3, Mike is number 4. They both have a record of 9-2. Ian has a record of 8-3, but Ian could jump into one of those top 4 spots with a win and
Mm-hmm.
also a Brian or Mike loss. So the way
Right.
that it works out, Brian plays me, so I'm trying to win just so I can get into playoffs, and we'll get into that scenario in a little bit. Mike plays Jay Wade, who's currently in number 6. We'll kind of talk about Jay Wade's position. He's kind of safe, kind of where he's at. But they play. And then Ian plays Ty. Again, Ty is kind of jockeying for that final playoff spot, which is still technically possible. And Ty's actually in a pretty good spot to get it at only minus 13 on the year. But again, if Ian was to win, let's just say he wins by 3, right? That puts him
Right.
at 9-3.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mike, let's just say he loses by 1 even. That puts him at 9-3. But if Ian wins by 3, that puts him at a plus 16. Mike was to lose by 1, that puts him at plus 14. Ian would at that point jump Mike into the top 4, 3 or 4, depending on what Brian does. But yeah, that's why Brian, Mike, Ian, they're, again, 3 players fighting for 2 seeds right now. And again, Ty is, he has a chance to play spoiler, but also he wants to win big for his own positioning purposes. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, interesting. That's going to be very fun to see how that shakes out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you kind of touched on it briefly, but just Jay Wade's also in up in that mix where he's the only person actually with a 7-4 record, which I think is very interesting because um at the moment it'd be a little difficult for him to. There's a chance, but it's like maybe to even get no, not even. I was looking at it now trying to see if maybe there's a way for him to slide into that number 4 spot, but at the moment seems extremely unlikely. Would need a lot to kind of go in his favor, but even then he wouldn't be able to match the win totals of Brian and Mike, so he would
Right,
still
right,
be outside that spot.
right.
But again, essentially, he still has a chance to take over that 5 spot from Ian. Again, let's say if Ian was to lose by again 3, Jay Wade wins by 3, he would then overtake him for that 5 spot, which again gets you the lower the lower seeded player in that
Mm-hmm.
playoff bracket, which is something to think about as well.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Um, Me and Dan are kind of stuck in the 7 and 8 spot. So no matter what, if I was to lose this week, I would still get either the 8 spot, or stay 7th, or say again if Jay was to lose, I could probably snatch up that 6 spot. Same thing with Dan. He can only go as low as that 8th seed, but if he was to pull out a pretty decent win, there's a chance that he could overtake Jay Wade with a loss as well, and that kind of covers, I'll say, the upper half of the play-in. The players who would be the 5, 6, 7, 8. Then that kind of there's a 5 player, let me see, 4 player mixed for that. The only thing that could really change is that 5 seed, 6, 7, 8 are kind of locked into these 3 names. Just depends on where they kind of um fit in a sense, or where they end up. So I
Right.
think that's something to keep an eye out when it comes to at least the first, like the from 5 to 8 of play-ins. Those 4 spots, those are essentially, again, same names, just might look, the way that it's arranged might look differently at the end of the week.
Right, right. No, it's going to be interesting. So you guys are all basically secure. So everyone,
Right.
that's in the 8 spot. So Dan is the last player that's locked in for playoffs. You guys could, throw your switch out the window and you're still going to make playoffs, right? That's
Right.
guaranteed. You guys are locked in.
I mean, yeah, but then I wouldn't be able to play.
Fair. Yeah, don't throw your switch out the window, but you could theoretically. So Just keep that in mind.
I'm about
But
to toss that shit out right now.
just get rid of it. Yeet.
Hmm.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna touch on the 9-10 because that's a very interesting spot. But I'm gonna
Right.
just kind of tackle the 4 and 7s because the players in 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So that's Brendan, SB, Phil, myself, and Simon.
Hmm.
There's 5 players vying for 4 spots. So one of these players, well, I guess technically Ty could jump us as well. But yeah, one of these players at minimum is going to find themselves on the outside looking in. So the one I want to talk about real quick though is 9 and 10, and Jay, I'll let you, kind of tackle the second piece of the conversation. But Brendan and SB,
Hmm.
both 4 and 7. 5 wins locks you in for playoffs. Okay.
Yes.
So one of these players, they play each other this week. So Brendan and SB, they throw down. They are essentially a win and in. So if Brendan beats SB, Brendan is a lock for playoffs. If SB beats
Hmm.
Brendan, SB is a lock for playoffs. So you guys, you actually have the same plus minus too. Wow.
Hmm.
But yeah, you guys are in a win and in. So whoever wins that matchup is in. It's just that simple. So not
Right.
really much more to say about that. But yeah, you guys, prep accordingly. Whoever wins, you guys will be playing next week. So good luck.
Hmm.
All right, good stuff.
Oh, my bad. That was my
No,
cue. Sorry. I was, you know what it was? I was getting a message from our sponsor, which we'll go over at the end of the pod.
fair, fair.
Um, but as Jordan said, I think that's a great point, and I think looking at the rest of the table, kind of also with the rest of the 4 and 7, yourself, Jordan, Phil, and as well as Simon. I think these are very interesting matchups. Because again, with the Brendan and SB match, you said winner gets in, but the loser also takes a really huge hit. To
Mm-hmm.
be honest with you,
Right,
whether and again, it may not be again the person who loses could lose by one, but still, at that point, you're not in control of your destiny anymore. You
right,
have to. You're essentially hoping that like Brian pulls out a win against you, Jordan, or
right.
if Simon pulls out a win against Justin, it's like that. You want Justin could pull out the upset, and then of course there's Phil, who I think Phil's match is very interesting because that also has playoff implications on um different sides. Where if he was to beat Dan, then that would affect the 5 to 8. But if he was to lose again, that would also kind of affect him as well as again kind of at that point, you're just waiting. You're just waiting to see the results. And the plus minuses on that side are also very, very neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
Brendan and SB are tied. Phillips one behind. And Jordan, you're in that last spot. You're minus 11, but you're still right there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting to see how a lot of those matches play out. And just to briefly touch on Simon, since he's technically the one with the same record, but just on the outside looking um, in terms of standings wise, right? Technically, on paper, Simon would have the easiest match considering Justin's spot on the
Right.
table, which is unfortunately dead last. But
Right.
again, I think we spoke about it. I think you mentioned a little bit earlier, Jordan. Was just like Justin's role is to play spoiler at the moment if he wants to be of just a simple loss in my opinion, Simon, not to put any pressure on you, just a loss at this point, I think that playoff picture would be locked in, to be honest with you.
Right.
Unless you sell and really and like lose by 6, Jordan. I think that's a big matchup in deciding what's gonna happen. I think if we know the results of that match, then I feel like at that point you can kind of lock in the 12 who you currently see right now. We're gonna get into again briefly on Ty, Evan, and Chris because they're still technically not out. But it's a bigger uphill battle than you would think.
Right.
But again, no pressure, Simon. But you might want to I would advise you to really go hard this week. I would ask around, see if anyone's willing to, give out some words of wisdom, especially because that's a really big match, honestly. And I think this would be Simon's first time making playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. So that'd be a nice story to tell as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like Simon definitely with a win gives himself a shot at
Hmm.
making it in. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of at that -11. I'm technically in that last spot right now. I could technically still sneak in even with a loss. I guess anyone that's in, the 4-7 range, um, outside of Simon, if Simon loses, it's likely
Yeah,
that he will be in the outside looking in. But,
I'll,
any,
I,
oh, good.
mhm. I'll say this just because it's a little bit rough just because no matter what, the winner of Brendan SB is still gonna stay at 4. So even a Simon, like, again, someone is gonna
Yeah,
lose that match, as you
right,
said. So all Simon does, like, if Simon just wins, and if you just win and Phil wins, you guys are, no matter what, you guys are all gonna move up a spot just on
right,
points alone. So
right,
it's like kind of crazy to like think about that because again, it's like this to me, out of all the matches that we have, I think Brendan against SB, that's by far the most important one. Just because again, the winner knows who gets in there, and the loser again has to pray that 3 different people lose their kind of lose their match.
right,
Which
right.
is kind of insane to think about, man.
No, it is tough because it's like, again, you said it the best one. It's like your destiny is outside of your hands at that point. You lose, and you just have to just wait and find out, see who wins, see who loses, and see if you're playing next week. So very interesting spot. That 4-7, everybody right there, is going to be very interesting to see how that turns out. But moving on to the last 3 players who are still alive, but they have a very big hill to climb. So
Hmm.
Ty, Evan, and Speakman are all 3-8 with a plus minus of -13, -21, -22, respectively. Now, if these players win big, well, I guess Ty doesn't necessarily have to win quote unquote big, but big would help,
It
right?
helps a lot.
Exactly, exactly. So Ty doesn't necessarily have to win big, again, quote unquote big. Evan and Speakman, they're essentially, you guys have to win by 5 or 6 to have a look. And then you also have to kind of bank on SB, Phil, or myself losing big as well. So that's why it's that's a pretty big hill to climb because you don't really see a lot of wins or losses by 5 and 6, but that's kind of what you need to have a shot, and you also need to get a big win too. So just as they prepare for their battles, I'm sure they're gonna plan accordingly. But yeah, Ty, Evan, Speakman, you have a shot. I would say it's I don't want to be like harsh, but I'd say it's probably maybe a 15% chance that you get in. Again, it's going to take a big win on your part, and then it's going to take a big
Hmm.
loss by someone else's part, which is
Right.
possible. We've seen crazy things, and this is technically,
Hmm.
this is sports. We've seen some crazy things in sports before, but yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see if that does happen. That would be insane. Wouldn't that be crazy?
It'd be insane though. It's like I feel really bad for whoever collapses to the point where
Right.
it's just like, like for again in terms of like it ties right there. Like he has the better plus minus than Simon. He's very close to you in that regard. So unless like Jordan, unless you get like blown out or Phil gets like blown out, let me do the math real quick. So realistically, Ty can still jump into even like into the 9 spot if something like really crazy. Like I'm talking about, like Brendan would have to get like close to 6-0. Ty would have to win by a decent margin. But again, it's just crazy
Right.
that we have all these possibilities. Like it's again, so Ty, you're still right there, bro. Simon, you're also still right there. Again, I can't reiterate enough that Brendan SB match, man. At that point, the loser of that match is just gonna again, if even one like just one person, because again, you're gonna take a hit to the plus minus, whether it just be like
Hmm.
1 or 2, it's still gonna hurt. But then again, you have to just like you have to hope that no one else wins their match. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Exactly. No, it really is. That's probably the match of the week, to be honest. Um,
Hmm.
just because it's winning in. Winning in is always an interesting spot to be in because it's like if I handle business, I'm good. If I don't, I'm not safe. So that one is critical.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of it. So Jay and Justin, we kind of spoke to their situation a little, in the conversations we've had before, but they are basically playing spoiler. Jay, you have an opportunity to impact, not you, Jay, but Jay Grants has the opportunity to impact that number 1 seed.
Me
And
too.
Do you? Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Oh.
me.
The two J's. You guys play
Yeah,
a
man. We
huge role.
out here, bro.
That's funny. What are the chances that the Jays could spoil everything for the number one seed? That's
Hmm.
funny. And then Justin, a fellow Jay, another Jay. Um,
Hmm.
you have a chance to play spoiler when it comes to Simon's playoffs. You beat him,
That's
and
crazy.
he's done. So yeah,
Hmm.
that is. Those are all the playoff pictures that we could kind of think of. I think we've covered everything. If you're listening and you say, "Hey, you didn't cover this angle," drop it in chat. We'd love to kind of talk through it. But I think we kind of covered everything, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this week plays out.
I agree. I agree. And especially, as we kind of see the matches start to come in, there's going to be that increased sense of, what's we're looking for, Jordan, tension, especially.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Everything kind of floods in. You kind of want to know the results ahead of time because you want to already start to think about one. You guys, I think the big difference with play-ins this year compared to play-ins last year was it is a best of three. It isn't
Right.
the best of one like previous play-ins have been. So just
Mm-hmm.
getting to know who you're facing, scheduling that time because you're gonna be there for possibly at most for no. Let me do the math. At most an hour. Let's say
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
20-minute time limit, all that good stuff. But usually, probably gonna for two matches, probably like at most, like or at least 15 to 25 minutes. Unless someone gets blown out
Right.
immediately. So, because everybody just wants to kind of get that locked in, get that time frame going. Because again, you're probably gonna sit there, definitely get some water, try to get some snacks in between, and just plan in advance. We're probably gonna go over a little bit more of that next week when we have our matchup set, but it's an exciting time, and I think this is one of the biggest and closest playoff races we had. God, what season it was? I think it was like 2 seasons ago. Was also really close as well. So it's just nice to see that everyone's still hanging around as
Right.
well.
No, it's gonna be fun. I agree. It's gonna be a good time. It always is, and that's all for now. So, we'll talk more as we finish the season, as we finish the regular season. But Jay, it is officially time to
Yes, sir.
make our picks for Week 12.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Well, let's do this, Jay. I'll let you do the honors. You can kick us off with making your pick in the match that's already been played. But again, we don't know the result, so this is going to be it's still fair game.
Yes,
So.
sir. This is an interesting matchup, man. We got JG going against Zach of R. Again, Zach had an amazing season so far. Only one loss. He's really been doing his thing. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody to see that he's doing so well. We have Jay. First season. I'm not sure if she had any previous experience like going to doubles, but I think she's had a lot of great moments. And just props to her for completing the season. Honestly,
Mhm.
12 weeks isn't easy at all, especially when you have to go in and you have to schedule with someone. So props to her, just for sticking it out. You know what I mean? That being said, I am gonna go with Zach. Just because Zach's team is like stupid. Um, 'Cause like I want the perfect call. So I'm like, what's a good
Right.
um
Well, Jay, before you make your pick, I was looking back in Discord and
okay.
I just wanted to see what the conversation that took place was, right?
Uh-huh.
So you see the code, code 99. It looks like they're searching. And then you see Zach pop in. It says, "Whew, that was freaking intense.
Oh, that was
LMAO.
intense.
GG,
Yeah.
dude." And then Jay, I guess we could call her Sakuna, right? That makes sense.
Sakuna.
Sakuna says, "Yeah, GG." Petulant, they kind of talk about it. And then this is my first little hint that I think
Uh-huh.
Zach may have pulled it out. So I think that was a good call on your part. But he says, "I'd probably consider investing a bit more into its bulk." So it sounds like Petulant may have been smoked at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But then Zach finishes the conversation by saying Muck was MVP. So I think it sounds like it was intense. It sounds like I'm going to
It
go with
was,
Zach as well. Just spoiler alert, but it
yeah.
sounds like you made a good call there. So Jay, with that conversation in mind, what do you think Zach won by? I wanted to give you that backstory because I was looking at it too.
Intense.
So
I I appreciate that. That's excellent sportsmanship on your part. Um, intense, 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 intense. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Zach by. I'm stuck between three or two, to be honest with you. Because Muck's annoying. So I'm and like Muck usually has a teammate with it. So I'm just like I'm going Zach by three. I'm
Zach
gonna go
by.
with
Oh crap! I just erased my. There we
I'm
go.
gonna
We're
go
good.
with
Sorry.
Zach by three. Cause intense. Cause again, three O is like the perfect middle ground, and
Hmm.
intense could just mean like like oh like. I may have had three Pokemon left, but they were all probably like about to die. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Right.
things like that. So it's like I don't know. I'm uh I'm gonna go Zach by three.
No, for sure. So I'm gonna go with Zach by two. I'm gonna take your other thought process there and go with Zach by two. But yeah, I mean,
That's fair.
intense can mean a number of things. But but yeah, let's go Zach by two. So we both got Zach winning. Jay, I've got you locked in for three. I've got myself locked in by two. So the next match is you versus Aris, and
Yes,
this
sir.
is you're safe, so you're safe and square in the middle. Aris is still looking for that number one spot. He's having a perfect season. I don't know. I don't think we've had a perfect season in PLC history, have we? Zach didn't go.
Nah. Zach like I think Zach like lost. I thought like season six. He like lost like the second match, like his second match,
Oh
and then
man.
just didn't lose after that.
Oh
If
snap.
I'm not mistaken, like I think he was like maybe he lost like the like second or third match,
Hmm.
and then he just didn't lose like after that. I'm pretty sure.
That's funny. That is insane. Hold on. I have season six pulled up. I don't know if that was. I'm just gonna
No, it was.
scroll through real quick.
I'm, no, it was six. It was six for a fact because I remember the first thing I thought of when I faced him in finals is like, damn, this motherfucker hasn't lost in like a million weeks, and y'all
Yeah.
want me to beat him twice, like not once but twice. Like we almost did it though. We
No,
we
look,
almost did
you're
it.
right though. It's season six. Season six, Zach won 3 games in a row, and then he
Hmm.
lost to Aris in week four, and then
Hmm.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all dubs. And
Hmm.
then he beat Jay Wade, and just oh my gosh, he beat Jay Wade by 2 in the first round. The second round, he beat Ian by 2, and then in finals, oh no, I'm sorry, Jay, he beat you by 2.
Listen, man.
He beat you 2.
Listen.
He. Oh my gosh, that's a run.
Listen. 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 No comment.
Yeah, we don't have to harp on season 6 anymore. Okay,
No.
that being
No
said,
comment.
we've never had an undefeated regular season. I don't think we're gonna have an undefeated regular season this year because Jay, I'm
Are
calling
you?
you to win
You're actually
by
calling
one.
me?
I'm calling you to win
Wow,
by
that's
one.
wow. I feel this is the first time you've actually like won for me this season.
Jay,
I'm lying.
Jay, I've got faith in you, bro.
Well, guess what? I'm going with a Reese by one. Now wait, before you say anything, right? Let me explain to you my thought process behind this, right? Two things gonna happen. Either I lose, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't get a correct call, or I'm gonna win. I'm gonna have the euphoria of the win, um, which is enough for me to ignore the overall call because I'm
Right.
currently up,
Oh,
right?
that's funny.
And and every time I bet on a Reese to win, he fucking loses.
Nah.
So I feel like the stakes are in my favor.
There's
A Reese is the
layers. You win no
there's
matter what.
layers. There's juju exactly. So no matter what, I'm still the winner. Because at the end of the day, I can only get maybe two, I'm stuck between six, 5, 6, and like what is it, 6, 7, and 8. No matter what, you know what I mean. But I'll tell you this, right? Let me tell you the motivation I have for this season, right? For this match, excuse me. Ariz is the 2007 New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
He's undefeated. I looked at a picture of Ariz the other day. He has the Tom Brady bowl cut. He's flowing right now, right? And I told you guys in the mod chat about the dream I had.
Right.
Told you like Manning came to me. He was like, "You have to beat the streak." I was like, "You know what, Eli? I will beat the streak just for you." So I'm going with Ariz by. I'm going for Ariz by 0. But
Ooh.
a Reese by 0. But I'm gonna try my best to win this match because I do want to play spoiler. Again, I can't let Eli down, and and I scrimmed the Reese like a month ago, and I won. So I think that should be counted instead of the actual match. Just saying. But it's okay. But again, I'm on a serious note. I expect it to be a good match. I think I have a nice team. I think he has a fantastic team as well. So I think this will be a good match, man. I'm eager to see. I haven't faced the Reese in years, man. It's been a while since I played a Reese too. I feel like
No, that's gonna be fun, and that's gamesmanship. I freaking love it. So no matter if you win, you win. If you lose, you still win. This is freaking spectacular. You're
that's what I'm
like
saying. It's what
mind games.
layers, bro. I'm
Exactly. It's
saying.
freaking spectacular. I think you should get a perfect call just for that alone. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Next up, we have Ian going against Ty. Must win for Ty, as we previously spoke about in our standings and playoff picture conversation. So again, must win for Ty. It's interesting now because it's a weather mirror in a sense. You know, if Ian decides to bring the sun, Ty decides to bring the sun. At some point, you're going to be helping something that your opponent has, whether it be the Lilligan or whether it's the Charizard. It's going to be an interesting matchup, man. This is tough.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think Ty's going to come out swinging, but I like Ian's team a little bit more. To be honest with you. And Ian really wants that Venusaur, so I feel like he's gonna go hard for it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Ian also
This is
wants to be in the top four. I feel like that's a spot
yeah,
where he wants to be. So
yeah,
that
man.
that
So
comes
it's a
into play
week
too.
off. What
Mm-hmm.
the heck?
Exactly.
Um, this is tough. I'm gonna still go with Ian. I'm gonna go with Ian by 2.
Okay. Ian by 2. I've got that locked in. I'm gonna go with Ian as well, just because
Mm-hmm.
I know he wants that number 4. I guess he could technically get 3 too, but he wants to be in the top 4. So I am gonna go with Ian. I think that's motivation for him. And when Ian plays, Ian's a good player, so it's gonna be a tough battle for Ty regardless, just because Ian is good. Um, but I think he's gonna come in focused. I think he's gonna win. Not to
Yo,
take anything away from Ty, but I'm gonna go with Ian by 4 in this one.
damn.
I think he's motivated. I can't really
Mm-hmm.
say much more than that. So I've got Jay. I've got you locked in for Ian by 2, and I've got Ian by 4. So the next
Gotcha.
match is myself versus Brian. I'm gonna go with me by 2. I'm not really gonna elaborate. I want to win. The one thing I don't want to do is miss playoffs this year because I've never
Yeah.
missed playoffs in the 9 seasons we've been
Mm-hmm.
playing, and I don't want that to happen this year. So I'm going to go with myself by 2. I think I said 2 a minute ago, but yeah, I'm going to go with myself
Yeah.
by 2 because again, I know how I play, and 2 just lends itself to a Jordan victory. So I'm going to go with myself by 2.
This is interesting, man. I feel like 2 very interesting teams. Whew.
And that being said, Brian,
Know what my thing is, man? You know
yeah,
what my thing is?
what's
I'm
up?
like, which Jordan Herrera is gonna show up this week? Right? Am I gonna get season 5, season 6 Jordan Herrera, or am I gonna get like bite? You know what I mean? Am I gonna get what's the Pokemon that you always bring? I'm like, don't bring that shit. What is it?
Luxray.
No, not Luxray. What was it from Janae
um,
with the squirrel? What's it called? I
oh
forgot what
what?
it's called right now.
Greedent, yeah.
Greedent. You know,
Yeah,
are we gonna get the Greedent enthusiast Jordan? Because if that guy shows up, he's not gonna win.
fair, fair.
But if we get the guy who locks in, I think it's gonna be a good matchup. But to be honest with you, Jordan, I don't think you have enough firepower this time around. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think you have a lot of nice support, but I don't think you have a lot of things that hit particularly hard on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
But just because I like you, I'm gonna still go with you. I'm gonna still go with you.
Hey.
And I want you. I really do want you to win, because if I win and you win and you get last spot, then I face you in a best of 3, which I've been wanting for a while.
Hey.
So
Hey.
that's my hope. So
Yo,
I
that'd be
hope you win,
fire, bro.
because
That,
that's what I'm saying, bro. You know, we can finally settle that score.
yo, we need to.
Um,
We need to. I'll do it
so I
just for
hope you
you.
win.
I'm gonna get that dub.
That's what I'm saying, man. I hope you're motivated, man. I hope you're
Let's do
motivated.
this.
I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with you by 2.
2. Got it. Good stuff. I appreciate the confidence, and I will see you in
Of
playoffs
course,
next week, Jay.
man.
I will
I
see
hope
you
so,
for our best
man.
of 3 next week. So let's do
As
this.
as Co- as Kodak says, I hope so. Um,
Yo, wait, hold on. That could be famous last words. So let me just dial back the confidence a little bit and just
mhm.
say I will do my best.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's okay. And
Right, right.
there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with like being cocky though. It's okay.
Right, right. Exactly.
We
Peacock a
have
little bit.
Dan going against Phil. Interesting match, Jordan. This is an interesting match, right?
Mm-hmm.
If again, a win, pretty much for Phil, that secures his spot.
Mm-hmm.
Dan's spot is also secured. And again, the worst, if he loses, he's still going to be on the 8th seed. But if
Mm-hmm.
he wins, he can jump up to number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is an interesting match, man. I'm looking at these teams. I just saw Dan's team this week, so it's like I know his team has scary potential. Um, and Phil pulling out that win, that's a little crazy for you, Jordan, but it's okay.
Right. Yo, wait. Speaking of that win, let me tell you how hurt I am.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
my
Wow.
whole game plan is I can leave the Mudsdale alone. I don't have to deal with Mudsdale. I can kill it with anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
My game plan worked perfectly. If
Mm-hmm.
any other Pokemon comes in other than Corviknight,
Mm-hmm.
I win the game. I mean, there's a few others like Hatterene, Magic Bounce, obviously reflects. A Dark type wouldn't be able to get prankstered. So there are Pokemon. I say, any other Pokemon to be dramatic. But if any other Pokemon in the game, any of the other 1,000+ Pokemon in the game come in that spot, I win. But because it's Corviknight, I lose.
Mm.
It sucks.
Yeah, man.
But carry on.
That bird may
That
have just
freaking
gatekept
bird.
you from playoffs. No,
Yeah,
I'm joking.
that freaking bird. Yes. No, you're
Listen,
serious. You're not
it's
lying though. I mean, technically you are correct. Yeah.
you're still very alive, right?
Right, right.
With Phil, it's interesting. I don't know, man. Who are you gonna go for?
Uh,
Whoever you go for, I'll go the opposite because
um
I actually don't know who to pick.
I'm gonna go with Dan.
Okay.
Just because Phil, like I played him last week, and I mean I'll say it. I brought a lot of or not a lot, but I had a plan
You
for
brought a lot of
his.
cheese, man.
Well, I brought
You
some.
brought a lot of cheese. A
I brought
lot of
some
cheese.
psychic stuff because he had, his wheezing. I figured that was gonna come. It didn't. The Amoonguss, that's one of his asterisk mons. I brought, psychic for that reason. It didn't end up coming, so it's like I probably could have prepped a little better, but I mean Dan's got psychic types for days, so it kind of, if Phil does lean into the psychic or the poisons on his team, specifically Amoonguss even, then Dan's in a pretty good spot. So I'm gonna go with Dan by 2.
That's fair. Again, just for the sake of opposition, I was thinking Phil had a chance to pull it out. I think on his part, a lot of the stuff on Dan's team is very ability based. I look at the Rotom Wash, I look at the Indeedee, Iron Valiant as well. A lot of that stuff does rely on their ability. So again, if I think Dan's a smart guy, he's gonna have that in mind. I'm pretty sure. I think Phil's probably it's gonna be looking. Yeah, excuse me. It's gonna be something that Phil's gonna be looking at as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they kind of, how they kind of read each other this match. So
For
I'm gonna
sure.
go with Phil. I'm gonna go with Phil, but who is whoa?
Okay, I've got you locked in. Yeah, for sure. Um, Next up is Speakman and Evan.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking back at Stan, I just want to take a look at that real quick. Speakman needs a big win. Actually, they both need. I didn't even think about this. They both need a big win, and they play each other. So it's just a matter of who can come out swinging harder, faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's actually really interesting. I didn't think about that. That being said, tax time is over. I mean, it might be like overtime tax time now. I don't know what happens after April 15th, but Speakman theoretically is free to prep, free to plan. I think Speakman, I'm sorry, Evan, I think Speakman wins by 6 because he has to.
God damn.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I'm just going to. Is that smart to do? I'm not going to
Hey, man. Hey man,
Let's do it.
you never know. You know what I mean? You never know.
Exactly. I'm going to do it. Speakman by 6 because he has to, and it's no longer tax time. That's my thought process. Go Speakman. Evan, that's not a dig at you. I hope you prep too. But Speakman by 6 just for the sake of make it a ballsy pick. So
I'm gonna go with Chris, and because I want the perfect call, I'm gonna go with Chris by 5.
that's a little
So I'm gonna
safer.
switch up.
Yeah, a little safer. Okay, I
Just along
respect it.
there, but Chris has a very nice win condition that I'm pretty sure he's aware of. And again, I just think if he gets it, I think there's no stopping the steamroll.
That's fair. Yeah.
Next up, we currently have Simon going against Justin. So again, Simon's he also looking in. He's literally right there. Again, this the first time he'll be making the playoffs, man. We've given Simon previous seasons a hard time, for some of the decisions that he makes. But he's picked up a nice set of wins, and he's in the playoff hunt, man. Um, he needs a win. Without a doubt, he has to win. Unless you get like blown out Jordan, there's no way he makes playoffs if he doesn't take this win. I feel like he's gonna be super motivated going this week. I'm not sure if Justin's gonna be as motivated. But I'm gonna go with Simon because I feel like, like he's right there. And I think
Hmm.
it'd be a really nice story for him to kind of look back on and see. I'm going with Simon. I'm going with Simon by 1. Do I think Simon makes playoffs? I'm gonna say it. I don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't.
Fair.
As I said, when it comes to the standings, they are very, very close. But the main thing that I think hurt Simon in this season is just the fact that when he did take losses, they were usually the margin was a little big at
Hmm.
times. So again, like I said earlier, my biggest thing with like Simon and Ty is just no matter what, like the loser of SB and Brendan, they're gonna take the loss, they're gonna take a minus, right?
Hmm.
So easily with a win, Simon, you can overtake whoever takes the loss in that one. You
Yeah.
can still possibly overtake like no, because even then you would have to win by
A lot. Yeah.
yeah, you essentially have to win by close to 4 and up, and the loser of SB Brendan would have to get like blown out by at least 4 just to have a chance there.
Right.
So again, Simon, just know if you win, you're in. Technically, if you win, you're like no, it's not technically. It's for 100% certain. If you win your match, you are in because again, you will have 5 wins. The the person who loses between SB and Brendan will only have 4. So
Yeah.
you will jump that person no matter what. Just keep that in
Whoo.
mind. All you have to do is win. You too, Jordan.
Yeah.
You in there, Phil. All you have to do is win, and you guys are in. That's all you have to do. So again,
Pressure.
I'm gonna go with Simon. Try not to think of it like it's pressure. It is pressure, but again, it's like we'll see. I'm gonna go with Simon. I'm going to go with Simon by 2.
That's really interesting. That actually is exactly the case. Whoever, can pull out a win between SB, Phil, myself, and Simon, we are in the playoffs. Whoa.
No matter what, you guys are going to be in there because the loser of SB and Brendan will not be able to get to match you guys in the
Yeah.
points.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out because that's freaking crazy. That being
Mm-hmm.
said, I'm calling Justin by 4. Justin, I need you to win. Do your thing. And
as,
Simon,
as an insurance policy,
yeah,
because
exactly.
if Simon loses, then those 9 to 12 spots don't move at all. So
Exactly.
that's
So,
another thing.
Justin, I'm banking on you this week. Do your thing. And Simon, I love you, but yeah, I need you to lose this week because I need to make it.
Yeah.
So,
That,
yeah,
that depends on unless Ty wins, right? That's also another factor to keep in. If you lose, he
fair.
probably
No, you're
maybe
not
take you.
wrong. Yes, you are correct. I'm in a tough spot. Um, yeah, very good point. So, I'm not safe, but that being said, I've
You're in
already,
control of your destiny.
yeah,
That's
and
the
I've already
that's
picked
number
Ty to
2.
lose, so I'm cool with that.
Damn.
So Ian beat Ty, appreciate it, and Justin beat Simon, I appreciate it. Thank you guys, and we'll talk next week. And yes, Justin by 4. Justin, come through. Thanks.
Hmm.
But no, Jay, that's really good, actually really good conversation because you're absolutely right. If we win, again, in control of our own destiny, we're good to go. But we lose, it's just a matter of waiting to see what else happens. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out. That's crazy.
Anytime.
SB and Brendan, this is the match of the week. So this is a win and in. Someone is going to be in and someone is going to be on the ropes. So, this is going to be interesting because Brendan has proved himself a formidable opponent over the course of the seasons he's been competing. SB made finals in season 5, and he kind of ran through the playoffs with the Gengar, which is interesting.
Fucking Gengar, man.
Gengar.
Excuse my language. That just triggered some very rough memories for me.
That's funny. That's funny. I'm gonna go. SB's reached out to me just for a little bit of input. I may or may not have provided anything valuable to him. So SB, if you took anything from that, awesome. If not, I apologize. But I know he's taking it serious. I say that to say that I know he's prepping accordingly. So I'm gonna go with SB actually. And Brendan, you've knocked me out of playoffs, I think twice in these last 3 seasons. So I hope you lose. Not to be mean, but I hope you take it. I'm going to go with SB by 0. I think it's going to be a very close match. SB by 0.
SB by 0 is crazy. Where is Gyarados on SB's team? Because I don't see it. That makes me very upset because I don't. Who the hell has Gyarados now?
Did he drop it? I'm looking back at the transactions.
Where the hell is Gyarados? That mother effer really messed me up in our match. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I think Gyarados would have been the perfect counter to Brendan's team.
Oh, he traded it to Brian.
Traded to Brian. That's interesting.
Yep.
That's very interesting, actually. Because I thought Gyarados put a number on me. It just had the flinch glove on, and I think it does a lot. I think there's a lot of work against Brendan's team in particular, to be honest with you. But I think that kind of changed a lot for me. There's two very similar teams when it comes to just overall some of the heavy hitters, but I'm gonna go with Brendan because I think Brendan's team, the win condition is very simple, and I'm not too SB has a couple things for it, but I really thought the Gyarados was gonna be present in this matchup. So I'm gonna go with Brendan. I think a lot of Brendan's major threats don't match up well against SB's Astros that he has, to be honest with you. And I think it's gonna be a very interesting match. But I still do have Brendan playing it out. I have Brendan playing it out by 3.
Brendan by 3. I've got it locked in. All right, Jay, finish us up. Take us home.
Yes, sir. We have Jordan going against Mike. Again, also a very important matchup just for playoff seeding. At this point, if you look at the standings, Mike with a win should solidify himself within a top 4 spot, earning him that bye week for next week. Jay Wade, if he does win, again, would still be able to get into that top 4, but again, he would possibly be in contention for the 5th seed and would have to face the lower seeded player in the play-in. So I think that's something that's also very interesting. Also, just for history and pride, you want to have as many wins as you can. So I think, again, 2 players who at this point are both in. One playing for a week off, the other playing for just better positioning, and both competing for wins, man. I still think Mike comes out with it. I'll go with Mike by 3.
All right, Mike by 3. All right. I've got 3 words. USA. Those are letters technically, but you get the point.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
You get the point. Mike by 6. No, I'm just playing. No, I think Mike's gonna win. So Mike's been playing well. I think did he take 2 seasons off? Whatever the case may be, Mike's back playing with fire. or playing with a fire, not playing with fire, but he's playing well. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go with Mike. I'm gonna go with Mike by. Let's go with Mike by one because Jay Wade's been playing well too. So I'm gonna go with Mike,
Yeah. Yeah.
but by one. It'll be a close one. So
I agree.
there we go. And I think again those top 4 spots. You're basically like you get the week off next week, sure, but you also you're 3 series wins away from being champion as opposed to 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's awesome. So Brian and Mike, I think they're both going to play. I think they're both going to take it pretty seriously because it's a pretty advantageous position to be in. But so that's why I'm going to go with Mike. Naturally, I'm going to hope Brian loses because I'm going to beat him. But yeah, I think Mike's going to get the dub here. So good stuff. So Jay, that is those are the picks for week 12. So we've covered our week 9 picks going back 3-4 weeks ago. But we've covered that. We've covered the playoff picture and we've covered week 12 picks. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we start?
There is something I want to say to the people, and I'm actually going to text you first because I wanted to know your thoughts on this. Hold on. So, while I create this message for Jordan, just to provide you guys with context and entertainment, I like to speak about Aubrey Drake Graham and Kendrick Lamar Duckworth for a second, because this man, who I'm currently on a Discord call with, I don't know, man. How do you feel about that as a Drake fan? How do you feel about that battle, dude?
Overall, all right. So I am a Drake fan. I've been listening to Drake since 2009. I want to say, like my freshman year in college, and Drake's been putting out hits consistently for 15 years, right?
Okay.
That being said, Kendrick Lamar is also fire. Kendrick Lamar's first album, certified classic. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. So I've never had a problem with Kendrick. The Control verse in 2013, Andre 3000, the rest of y'all, like that whole verse, lit a fire in everybody, right? So I've been a Kendrick fan for a while as well. So when the two started going at each other, it's like, this should be fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then it got a little interesting with the, it got a little interesting. Kendrick came out on top. I'll say that comfortably. Kendrick definitely came out on top because there's just, you can't, there's no conversation to be had. His middle tracks, I think Drake's tracks, they were all bops, so that's good. But yeah, Kendrick, the last track kind of ended it. It's over as far as I'm concerned. He absolutely dusted him. But Drake's tracks were still flames. But yeah.
I'll come to your list now. Can you explain it PLC terms?
Yeah, I can. So I think that the Kendrick Drake beef was Reese and Zach.
That's crazy.
It was a Reese and Zach going 11-0 and 10-1.
Okay.
Running through playoffs, meeting in finals, and oh man, who is Kendrick? Who is Drake? That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
You gotta call Drake. That's the first question.
Exactly. Let's think about it real quick. Let's think about it real quick because I honestly feel like I want to say Reese is Drake. I don't know if he's gonna like that.
Wow.
I think. Do you want to know why though? Because he has that's so tough though because Kendrick has the Grammys, right? But Drake's got the number ones. That's the thing. So that's tough. What like if you had to put one in one camp and the other in the other camp, who would you say is who?
The example I was gonna use, right? I was gonna put myself as Kendrick, and I was gonna put Reese as Drake for this upcoming week because, right? You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do after I beat Reese this week, Jordan? Guess what I'm gonna do?
What's up?
I'm gonna play Not Like Us, and I'm gonna crip walk. I'm gonna do the cleanest crip walk you'll ever see. I might record it just for PLC meme purposes because I'm I'm gonna break the streak, and I'm gonna win the battle. You
There we
know,
go.
it had nothing to do with the Kendrick and Drake beef. That was just me, just like making shit up. By the way,
That's funny. That's funny.
also everything said in that beef was allegations. Just so everybody knows, allegations. I don't want to fully, put anybody on blast.
Right, right.
Um, Drake, if you listening, allegations. Kendrick, if you listening, allegations. Just
Correct.
just don't. If you guys ever find yourself on the side of the internet, just know, allegedly.
Yo, we'll get hit with the cease and desist real quick.
That's what I'm saying. So, Aubrey, you know what I mean? Chill out there, Cody.
Right, right. Allegedly, of course.
That's allegedly.
That's funny though. But yeah, no, that I mean, to be honest though, that was freaking that was a wild night. Like it was a wild weekend. But yes, was it Saturday night when it just went crazy?
Yeah, I think it was Saturday. I remember, yeah, because it was. I remember I was at work on Sunday, and that's all we were talking about. It
Yeah,
was
no.
Sunday. It was Friday or Sunday. It was one of the two.
Yeah, it was freaking nuts though. It was like, oh snap. And again, I think I mentioned it before, but I was like, the the Drake song dropped, Family Matters, and I was listening, I was
Mhm.
vibing out. I was like, yo, this track goes crazy. And then not 20 minutes later, Kendrick had dropped and it was Not Like Us. And bro, Not Like Us is a freaking bop too. That song goes crazy too. So yeah, when he did that, I was like, oh snap, man. You could dance to this, you can move a little bit, it's a wrap, it's over.
Mhm.
And it's like certified lover boy, certified pedophile. I was like, oh snap. That's yo, it
Whoa,
was a freaking hot
whoa,
line, bro. It was so
whoa!
crazy.
Allegedly,
Allegedly, allegations.
allegedly. As I'm saying, I'm like,
Yo,
like, didn't Drake send people to the weekend's house? Didn't the weekend retaliate today?
yo,
Are you
that
trying to? Are
that's
you?
allegedly for
What you
real, for
trying to
real.
do, bro? Are you trying to get us like hit? What's wrong with you, bro?
Right, for real. Yo, but no, both. I mean, both songs, "Family Matters," "Not Like Us," go crazy. I feel like, no, Jay. Can I be honest with you? I feel like this is
Yeah.
what happened with the beef. I feel like
Mhm.
this is again. I have no involvement clearly, but I feel like Drake got into this beef knowing that he was going to drop these bombshells, alleged bombshells about Kendrick, right? With the whole kid thing, with the whole, wife situation, whatever. He had this in the tuck and he was like, these are napalm. So if we get
Mhm.
into it, I'm going to drop this and it's game over. So he was excited to get into. Have you ever been like in a situation where you're like, you get the new shoes and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get to school tomorrow because I'm going to be
Yeah,
fresh.
yeah.
That was the situation Drake found himself in. He had some information and he can flow. He makes good music. So he's like, I'm a freaking take this opportunity to kind of defecate on the industry. And that's what he
Mhm.
did in his songs. But Kendrick, like Kendrick took it to the next level where it was
Yeah.
like the information that Drake was dropping was big if it's true, right? It was huge, right? It's
Mhm.
good rap battle stuff if you don't respect, if you don't have any respect or whatever. If you just want to be as disrespectful as possible, it's good rap battle stuff. But Kendrick came out and he was like, if you want to go there, I'm gonna go lower than you would imagine I would go. And I
Mhm.
think that's what
I'm gonna
happened.
go farther. Mhm.
Exactly. And he just kind of like Drake came with the bombs, Kendrick came with the bombs. So and his bombs were bigger. And I think that's what happened. Drake
Hey
had big
yo.
bombs. Kendrick had bigger bombs.
Hey yo.
Right. And
Hey
I
yo.
think that's what happened. So yeah, Kendrick definitely won though. But I'm still a Drake fan, and I'm still a Kendrick fan. So it's like next time they drop an album, guess who's gonna be there? Day one streaming. So I'll
You
be there.
know, it was funny, right? So I was walking earlier today, right? And
Mhm.
I played Euphoria, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was playing Euphoria, and like I just looked up the song. You know how sometimes Apple Music, like I don't know what happened with Apple Music, where I don't know if you have Spotify or anything like
Hmm.
that. Apple Music has a
Apple Music.
thing where it's like I think it has like a top song thing, right? I was paying
Mhm.
attention to what songs are on there, and I was on Kendrick's page. I was listening to both diss tracks again, and right after Euphoria, Poetic Justice played, and I just thought that was the funniest thing. So I'm like, damn, we'll never get another song like this ever again.
Right, right, for real. Those
We'll
collabs,
literally,
yeah, those
hmm
collaboration days are done.
and it was that to me is like that's a really good song. To me,
Right,
that's
it
a really
is.
good song.
Hmm.
Like and it's a bop. It's a nice vibe. It's not a bop, but it's a nice vibe.
No, it
Bop
is.
like you want to move or something. Like, you're just chilling. Like you think about a girl, things like that.
Right, that song definitely
Um,
rides. But you
And
know
yeah,
what's
man.
sad though is like
Mhm.
I'm a Drake fan because Drake, again, I've been listening to him for 15 years. I was listening to him during like the formative years of my young adult life, and he makes
Mhm.
good music, right? And I feel like Family Matters is up there with like Back to Back. It's a
Oh,
good
100%.
quality song. Like it's amazing,
Mhm.
right? But it just got completely overshadowed. And it's sad because I like the song a lot.
Mhm.
And again, it got overshadowed for, for good reason because Not Like Us is a pretty fire song as well. So yeah, definitely an interesting weekend, definitely an interesting beef. And yeah, just wild. Kendrick is like a musical genius, and Drake can flow, but I just don't feel like he's on that same
Yeah.
rapping level. Like he makes arguably better music if you like for the casual, right?
I
And
mean,
for yeah, I mean
I don't.
better is quote unquote better, right? But like more digestible music. Kendrick, I feel like sometimes when you listen to Kendrick, you gotta like it's like doing homework almost. But he can make good music because clearly, I mean, Not Like Us is a fire song, but it's also it's got the meat and potatoes, but it also
Yeah.
sounds good on some pretty loud speakers. So
Also, like, there's something about Kendrick's delivery, whether it
right,
just be him changing like the tone of his voice or things
mm-hmm,
like that. Like, I think that's also what makes him so like entertaining. Because again,
right,
there's tons of bars there,
right,
but there's a lot of things which like, and I think about like just like when Euphoria dropped, and he was like, um, instead of pushing P,
oh yeah,
you do.
push a
How about you
T,
push it T?
yeah,
It
yeah,
was, it was, it was I don't know, just the way he said that, and then just like everything else he said, like you hear the way he delivered, like the whole I hate the way that you walk, I
oh
hate the way
yeah,
that you talk,
oh
I
that
hate
was
the way
fire,
that you
yeah.
dress. Like just the tone of voice and
Bro,
just
you
how he
know what
kind
my
of
favorite line is?
well,
He said, but that's just me, I guess. He said, it ain't even got to be
it's
deep,
just
I guess. Oh my gosh, that flows so hard, dude.
bro, and it's just like the delivery come out with the flow and
Oh,
getting
for
the
sure.
bars. And I just think the way like, and even on Meet the Grams, like that
Hmm.
whole last part, like the whole is like, you lied about your accent, like you
Yeah,
lied about like you lied, and then you hear like the echo or the reverb of his voice in the back, just going like you lied, thing, like just that, like it just hits like super
right.
hard, considering how the whole song he's just been like kind of, you know, he's he's pretty, chill. Then
Yeah,
he gets his part where he's like, you, what did he say? Your son is a sick man. I think
yeah,
people like him should die.
yeah.
I was like,
It's
damn. I
like,
was like, huh.
whoa.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Like,
word, word, word. Yeah,
yeah, again, that was part of like taking it just, again, like you didn't think I was going to go there in a rap battle, but guess what?
yeah,
We're here now. You know what I mean? And then Drake's, his last, basically the white flag was like, you still messed up. You still did this, but bro, like it is what it is. You won, and just kind of he wrote off. He's like, yeah, it's
yeah,
over.
yeah,
And I feel like that's kind of what it was. But again, I feel like Drake had bombs. Like I feel like this was like I've got nukes, and then Kendrick's like, yeah, but I've got like 2,000 nukes. So if you want to do
yeah.
this, we can do it. And they both shot, and one nuke versus 2,000 nukes. That's what happened. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, good stuff. But yeah, fun stuff. So Jay, that is the pod for the week, the last pod of the regular season. And
Mm-hmm.
anything else you want to say to the people?
Nah, man, just good luck, everybody.
No, good luck. I echo the sentiments, and we will see you guys next week for the first round of the playoffs. And good luck. See you in chat. Peace.
Peace.